Welcome to Tristan Motion. In today's tutorial, I will be animating this hand typing on a keyboard. If you have seen it on the commercial or any video production you are doing on Mavis production, sometimes you see an accountant typing on the keyboard. So this is the pipeline production for that. Especially, I'm just focusing on the finger typing on the computer. Okay, so that's what I'll be focusing on. But first and foremost, as you can see on your screen, I'm rigging the hand. First, you can check some of my video where I talked about rigging your hand or rigging your character. Okay, so most of the character is already rigged. I'm going to go into it and fine-tune it. But first and foremost, please, when creating or drawing your hand, make sure all the fingers are in separate layer. Okay, means vector. Let me use the word illustrator as illustrator terms. Vector. All your vectors should be on the fingers should be on a separate layer. Okay, so when you're drawing your finger 1, finger 2, all of them should be on a separate layer. Don't use one layer to draw it, except you don't want to move the fingers. It's going to be a little bit complicated and a little bit difficult to animate the fingers smoothly. But if they're on different layer, it will be very easy. So right now, what I'm doing on the screen right now is I'm just adjusting most of what I've drawn already, most of the points, the line. Sometimes you have to off some of the line, because you can see each of my fingers I draw them separately. So that is what you are seeing. Each of my finger is drawn separately. Okay, so I'm going to go through the rig to make sure everything is well rigged. Then the one I need to take away the stroke, I take away the stroke, because there's a place that the stroke, I don't want the stroke to show, especially on that last finger, because that is where I connected it to the main hand himself. You get, so everything need to go according to the line. You can see the way I'm raising it up right now. You can see. So I don't want that illusion when the finger move up. You now see that gap. Okay, you see that gap, that a little bit gap. That's what I'm trying to avoid. That's exactly what I'm trying to avoid. So if I have to go back and take away line, there's a particular place I can take away line. You go and take away the line. You can see now the line is now linked to the other main finger line, so that it will seems like they are one, not separate line. So that's exactly what I'm doing here. You can see. So I have to bring this stroke down, take it up. I'm just trying to align the line so that it will not be well visible that is separately. So that once I take away the go out of my stroke, this thing, you see everything will be one. So this is me also checking the rigging and the rest to make sure that everything moves accordingly to the way I want the fingers. Because this tutorial, I'm just focusing on only the finger. So you can see the way I'm lifting it up right now. You can see the hand himself. So each of the bone to the finger must be separate, just like the way you created the fingers separately. Okay, so this one is the master bone controlling the main hand himself. Okay, that is the master bone. Then the other one is linked to the fingers. In case I just want to raise your thumb, in case you just want to raise the whole hand up. This one if I want to move the hand backward. So that's exactly. So I'm going to go into it and also make some rigging to the body. Remember, it's a full character, but we're focusing on the hand. But if they are not well rigged, when you are moving each of the bone, you can also mess up with your animation. So that is why I'm going to go back and do some also rigging and also link them to their right bone. So I'm linking all this body bone to the main chest bone. You can see the bone is green. I changed the color of my bone for a reason. I will explain as we move further. So I'm just trying to rig all the bones, the ones that have not been rigged before, especially the body bone, to each of the bones, so that it will not affect the main finger bone. That's exactly what I'm doing right now. So follow me along as we proceed. Like I told you, each of the hand must be rigged separately. Okay, so I'm done with the left. I'm going to the right. I'm going to the left hand right now. You can see me rigging this one from scratch. In case you feel like so, like I said earlier, have done a rigging video already. So I'm not going to go in detail on how to rig. But let me just explain what you are seeing on the screen, what I'm doing right now. Okay, so I'm trying to rig the main finger. You can see from where I've alighted. I rig them to the main bone of this finger, this red one you're seeing now. So right now I'm going to create another bone for the thumb, because and then take away all the strength. The bone strength must be taken away, because I just want the thumb to move separately from the other hand. So you can see where I am rigging from. Your point is very important, because your point is where you can tell the bone this is where you can control and this is where you cannot control. So you're like, if I raise this bone up, I want this bone to control from this part to this part and from this part to the other part, and I want this other part to be reflected, to be affected by this other bone. So this is how you share it. So your point is very important. So where you position your point is very important. You can see right now I'm selecting each of them. I'm not selecting all the point, I'm selecting the point carefully, because I want the bone to be able to control each of those points in that particular space, not to move to the other side, because your finger doesn't just move like a robot. Remember, it's not a robot you are rigging. So your finger movement is very important, and where which of the bone control your fingers is very important. It's not like robot that all the hand move one way or the other. It's hand, it can be curved. There's a flexible in between breakdown poses and passing poses. So all those things, your bone must be very important. So it's not like because you saw the point, you rig all the point. You can see the way I did it now. You can see that those point is the one affecting just particular place, while the other point is affecting the other point. You can see. So this is exactly what I'm trying to explain to you guys. As you can see, as I'm clicking it, the point is alighting. If I click each of the bone, you see with the point that the bone is controlling, which is very important. Okay, then you go back and readjust again. You have to, when you finish rigging it, you have to readjust it again. Your curvature tools, you also have to play. That's exactly what I'm doing here. So I'm explaining exactly what I'm doing. Okay, in your own terms, you can also play with it in your own terms. You can see the bone controlling the whole hand. You can see the bone controlling the main focus of the hand. So it's not like when I pick this bone, everything this one to control. No. So if I want the finger, I go straight to the finger bone. See, this bone is one controlling the body, the chest, from the chest upward, from the waist upward. This is the bone controlling it. Okay, and you can see the way I rigged it. You can see as I light each of the vector layer, you can see the bone on its own color. Okay, the last bone is the waist bone close to the belt, which I don't want it to move. So I'm going to put it to the master bone controlling the whole body. That bone going on the back of the shear is the one controlling the whole body itself. So I've highlighted the second one. So right now I have to cut into this where I start the animation. Okay, because like I told you, I've explained in another video where I rig and animate and I rig the entire character for you. So it's the same process. So right now we're moving into animation. So on the finger animation right now, there's no specific formula, okay, that I'm following, because I just want simultaneous movement. I'm just going to mimic the finger moving. On frame 1, that's where I'm going to highlight all the bones. Make sure on your frame 1 you click both the body bone, the chest. In case you did a mistake, you can easily delete and you know that frame 1 is already set to frame 1. Right now I'm going to do my first pose, like pose to pose, before I'm going to come down to in between, then break down pose, then follow along. Okay, so my pose to pose is, I'm going to do the first pose. You're going to see my keyframe. Okay, so bear in mind, when you see the first keyframe, the second keyframe is pose to pose. Then in between the middle, that's where I'm going to move the animation. I'm going to move the pose to the next action. Okay, so I'm going to come back in between and fine tune it. So I'm going to do like 3 movement. Let me put it that way, 3 movement. So right now, let's go. So you can see my first pose to pose. I'm going to raise it up a little bit, then move my pose a little bit. Then you can see now moving one of the finger bone a little bit is to create in between. So I'm going to move. Give me a minute. Let me. Okay. Like I told you, I'm going with the flow. I'm going to make sure that the hand stays in between the keyboard, but move in a separate position on the keyboard. letters are scattered within the keyboard. I didn't add the letters here, which could have been better. So remember, when you finish the first action of the hand typing, before you move to the next action, you have to create a space in between that action to the next action. So that is my freeze keyframe. Okay, you have to, we call it freeze keyframe, or just create a pause keyframe in between. Then once you create the pause keyframe between, you move to the next animation, you mix to the next action. Let me put it that way. Okay, you move to the next action. When you finish the next action, that's exactly what I'm doing here. Okay, I'm just moving the finger from one position to another, create a freeze frame in between, then pose to pose in between, then I come back and add the breakdown pose, all those other necessary pose. Okay, that's exactly what I'm doing here. All right, so you can see, once your character is well rigged, the animation is going to flow with it. There's sometimes I have to raise, you can see this finger now going up, is like it's breaking the animation. Okay, the rigging, there's a time your rig will break. So once your rig break, make sure you bring the bone back to the same. You can see as I stretch this hand now, you can see the way the hand deform itself. So I won't stretch it this way, I have to go back. Let me see, I have to take it backward because the stretch is too much. Hold on, let me bring this, let me see who's going to bring this hand backward. Okay, then okay, let me see this. Now let me fix that stretch. The stretch is not normal. You see the stretch, it doesn't look normal. So I'm going to bring the second finger. I guess the second finger is one creating that stretch for me. Yes, this finger is one. You can see now, bringing that finger down covers that stretch. Okay, so I'm going to take it a little bit. You can see, okay, this stretch, see, so you see what I'm talking about. So sometimes once your rig is broken, you have to look for the next rig close to it. Okay, you have to look for the next rig close to it. So basically this is just what you need to do. Once your rig is complete and everything, you just need to go in between and make sure if you stretch it, like you see the way I'm stretching most of the finger, and it look awkward, they look bad. So bad means you have stretched it beyond the point that the rig can go, or the vector layer can go, so you have to just readjust it back again to fit all the points. That's exactly what I'm doing here. Okay, so just creating the movement that the hand is moving from the one point of the keyboard to another. It's not necessary you must move all. Like I see, like I told you, breaking the animation, you can see that last finger now. I have to bring it close and stretch it. As you see that now I have to fix that. That is not working perfectly. It doesn't seem, no fingers move that way. Okay, so we have to go back and fine tune it again. Maybe in between our breakdown poses, I'm going to add some movement to the entire hand himself. So that will help me cover up that lapse, that bad, that this movement doesn't seem natural. You see, so it doesn't seem natural. So I will find a way to close it. Okay, with some movement from the hand himself, or from the body himself, or from the camera shot himself. That if I didn't close it, if I just feel like going without it. So you see now. So now I'm going back to add the hand movement. If you are following, you see the way I'm doing it. Okay, after the finger, then the main hand move. When I say the finger move, the hand movement, the entire finger itself, there's a bone controlling the entire fingers itself. You can see. So now I have to go back and touch those bones now. So you take it easily, step by step. Okay, first animate the finger moving with the position. Then you have to now add in between breakdown poses. So this is the in between I'm adding now. You can see. So I'm using the main finger itself, the main bone that controls the entire fingers, as the in between and breaking down poses, because those are the one passing pose. Okay, controlling it. So you can see how smooth it is right now. So basically, if you follow through and to this extent, you are good to go. So I'm not going to be explaining the next step, because this is the same procedure I'm going to use for this next finger. So just follow me along. If you have any question, please keep it in the comment section and I will reply you immediately, and also do a breakdown tutorial or a pipeline tutorial for you to understand. So I'm following the same process that I did to the first hand. So the finished touches, I'm going to add squash and stretch and follow through to the finishing touches in between all the hands and hand. This second hand, as you can see now, I'm not explaining, so I'm just going flushing. I'm not going to explain. It's the same procedure. Thank you so much, and let's round up. Thank you so much for being with me on this tutorial. Please, if you have not subscribed to my channel before, please go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell icon, and also share this video to those who want to see it. All right, so the next video I'll be showing you how we can do that on After Effects also, and also the composition is going to come along with it. All right, so thank you so much, and please stay tuned for part 2. Thank you.